All right, that was really good, guys. This is a game I kind of just wanted to be over, and hopefully you win. But if you don't, you can make up for it later. But the team went out there and played really well, so this has to kind of reaffirm some of the confidence that you might have had coming into this season. Because coming into this season, I was expecting great things from this team. The first 2 weeks had me going, I don't know. But at this point, you got to say this team is starting to look like the team that we expected coming into the season. And today was really impressive to me because the team has a lot of problems right now with players playing injured and clearly limited, as well as the players who are out. And it's tough right now. But they went out there and they played they played really well. The players that we had did just about everything they could do. Russell Wilson played one of the best games of his career when you think about the fact that he couldn't scramble in the pocket at all. I mean, he could buy time in the pocket, but he wasn't able to do the things that he usually does. So that was fantastic to see how well he played despite that. And then you have our offensive line versus their defensive line. That's a mismatch. So for Wilson to play this well is it reminds you that he has the capability of being a very good quarterback even without the advantages of his mobility. So he overcame that. He made several big plays down the field. I mean, Jimmy Graham had a couple huge catches down the field. Doug Baldwin, Tanner McAvoy, he made a big play down the field. Paul Richardson. So despite his injuries, he was making big plays down the field, which is something that this team really needs to be able to do. It's a thing that we've been very good at the last few years, and we haven't seen a ton of big plays so far this year. So that was very good to see. And to think that this is what he can do when he's not even 100% gives you a lot of faith going forward. And this is without Tyler Lockett, mind you. Tyler Lockett is basically not playing. He played, I know, he took some snaps. He had one catch in this game, but Tyler Lockett is basically kind of a body at this point. He can't do what he usually does because he's injured. Bye week should take care of that, but he did this today with Tyler Lockett basically not able to do much of anything. Jimmy Graham, finally, we have the confidence in this guy to use him the way he should be used as a elite tight end who you can just throw the ball up to and he's going to make it happen. Some of the throws today were fantastic. He dropped it in the bucket to get us out of first and 10 inside the 5-yard line or whatever it was. He had the sideline throws where Jimmy catches it with one hand basically. You gotta love seeing that. That is a huge change to the way this offense, how good this offense can be this year if Jimmy Graham is going to be this good week after week. Doug Baldwin, he was a little quiet today, but he had a big play, and he did what he always does. We targeted him 4 times in the passing game, and he had 4 catches. What else can you even want? Just the passing game worked so much better than I would have expected against this Jets team in New York with an early start, and that felt really good. Running game struggled. Affetti got his first ever NFL start. You definitely saw him getting tossed around a little bit by an elite defensive lineman in Wilkerson. So that's not unexpected. I'm not upset at Affetti. So the running game had some problems, but I thought the offensive line played pretty good, especially Justin Britt and Mark Lewinsky. Bradley Sowell got kind of embarrassed on one of the pass rushes by, it might have been Calvin Pace. I can't remember who it was, but offensive line played okay, but the blitz pickups by Michael, Spiller, Collins, really good. Really, really good. I was impressed by how good the blitz pickups were. Because Michael, we didn't know if he was going to be a good blocker in the NFL, and he blocked good today. I have no problem with the way he played today in that regard. So Offensive line showed improvement against a good Jets front line, and the blitz pickups made up for whatever problems they had. Defensively now, this felt good. I mean, this was another thing about this game that was really good to see, because we were, if you're like me, you were a little afraid about this team's defense ability to create turnovers, because last year we did not force very many turnovers. This year we're one of the worst teams in the league at forcing them, and I'm just sitting there watching this game thinking, how can every other team in the league just have this magic little secret to forcing turnovers that we don't have? It seems like it's impossible. So 3 picks, should have been 5. Sherman dropped 1, Earl dropped 1. It's okay, Sherman caught 2, Earl caught 2, caught 1. 2 of them were in garbage time, but whatever. It's the kind of stuff you need, and it wasn't even total garbage time. It was just pseudo garbage time. So you gotta like that, especially from Sherman, because Sherman did not have a very good first half. Brandon Marshall got the best of him on like 3 occasions, which you usually do not see. He gave up a big play to Brandon Marshall. He gave up a touchdown pass to him. And it looked like one of those days when maybe he just, it was the worst half that I've seen Sherman play since probably 2012. And he played great in the second half. and he showed how good he was in that second half, making 2 picks, holding Marshall to 1 catch, and basically just getting it together. And at the end of the day, Brandon Marshall was thrown at 12 times and he had 4 catches. That's really good work by Sherm. Deshaun Shedd had a great game. Cam had a great game. The linebackers played well. The Jets could not run the ball on us, which is what I expected. They did not miss Jerron Reed that much. Jerron Reed was out today. We were still able to crush their running game, and that shows the value of a guy like Tony McDaniel. And hopefully he's back in 2 weeks. Jerron Reed, I have every reason to expect he's going to be. And I really like Jerron Reed, but today went pretty well despite not having the guy. So basically, the only thing that happened on the defense that was a little bit of a problem was we did give up some good drives, basically in the first half, and a little bit in the second half. There were a couple of good drives in there. They were able to pick up some third downs. The dump-off passes to Powell were working really well for them, and we didn't have an answer for that. They were dumping it off to Powell, and he was just taking it for 10, 15, 20 yards at a time, and we were never covering the flats. Quincy Enunwa, I think his name is, which is, he's actually had a really good start to the season, so it's not like he's some scrub, but he had a pretty good game. So at the end of the day, this is kind of what I want. This is a game where the defense basically gave up 10 points because the last touchdown was basically bullshit. So what we have is a defense that gave up a little bit, but we also forced turnovers, and that's really what I wanted. I want to see this defense force turnovers again, because I just feel like you make it so much harder on yourself if you're never taking the ball away. And I'm even willing to give up a little bit if it means we're getting more turnovers. Today, there was a fumble by the Jets on the first drive of the game that got overturned on some bullshit, which I'll get to that in a second. But, we dropped 2 interceptions. We could have had 6 turnovers in this game, and Ryan Fitzpatrick would probably hit the bench for Geno Smith if that had happened. He might do it anyway. He's turned the ball over 10 times in 2 games or whatever. Pass rush was hit and miss. Some of it was pretty good. Some of it wasn't. There were definitely times when I was like, can we please get to this quarterback? A couple times we got to him and couldn't bring him down, which is frustrating because it's Ryan Fitzpatrick. But the blitzes worked pretty well with Wagner and KJ Wright. You got to give Fitz credit for getting the ball out of his hands quickly, quite often. And you got to him 4 times, which is more than he'd been sacked the entire season up to this point. So those guys did good. It was just a really nice game by this team that I just wanted this game to be done with. Winning, losing, winning is nice, but I wanted this game to be done with. It is. The team looked good. We have a lot of reason to be optimistic going into this bye week, and we we should come out of it looking even better. All right. Catch you later.